Hey, deserving listeners, 90 Day Fiancé Season 2, way back when. Let's watch.
Asya and Jason, Chelsea and Yamir, all here in the same room. Welcome, everybody.
Hi.
Nice to have you all together. So first question, how many of you think 90 days is enough time?
No.
Now, what people will email me or comment below about the actual K-1 process or legitimate K-1 processes is that, yes, 90 days is not enough time because that's not what the K-1 visa is for. The 90 days is to get married. The decision to be married and the decision of compatibility that you're truly in love and that you're going to spend the rest of your life with each other should have been established well before you even applied for the K-1. People will email and say, when you apply for the K-1, the statements are such that you are signing off on the fact that you're for sure. You've already, been through the decision-making process and the meeting each other and making sure that you want to be with the person. That the K-1 visa, the 90 days, is because it takes a little bit of time to plan a wedding. That's, that the person comes to the States and then, there's planning that you have to do for a wedding, and they give you 90 days to do that, which presumably is enough time because you should have been planning the wedding and getting things in order before they even came here. So the question posed doesn't make sense given the reality of the K-1 visa.
Your family, we don't hear a lot about your family. We didn't see them. What do they think about you moving across the world for a woman they haven't met?
They was against that from the beginning.
Why were they against it?
Yeah, because they was like shocked. Why you have to do this? Why?
And your answer was?
My answer was, it's my life. It's my life.
But
okay, it is, and that's his choice. I think what us as audience members and maybe the host is looking for is for him to say, because I am deeply in love with Danielle. I think we keep waiting to hear some motivation there that would make us feel safe for Danielle's sake. Maybe he has that love, but we haven't seen any evidence of it, at least the edited versions that they're showing us.
why did you want to do it?
I'm not that kind of person who can stay in the same place, always doing the same thing.
That's not promising. Wait, and this interview, this is the first season I've watched where Sean Evans isn't the one doing, not Sean Evans, that's the guy from Hot Ones. Sean something. Anyway, but these are good questions that she's asking, getting at why did you want to do this? Because while we were watching the show, it wasn't clear to us as to why you actually married her. So his first response to his family was, "You can't tell me what to do. It's my life." All right. Well, why did you want to do this? Well, because I'm not the sort of person that wants to stay in the same place all the time. Okay. So this is just an excuse for a vacation, just to get away from Tunisia. Maybe he'll follow it up with, and also I am deeply in love with Danielle. I want to be with her. I like her. I'm attracted to her. I like to have conversations with her. She is my best friend. Let's see what he says.
I like trying new things. To be honest, it wasn't like 100% love from the beginning, because we just met 11 days and we was like trying to make it like big love, but we can say like 40-60.
This is interesting. So it's like, remember the Nicole and Azan situation. What did he say? He's 55% in love, or I can't remember what he said, but so, okay. The other thing that I'm sure some people are thinking and maybe commenting already is that culture is a thing here, that different cultures have different ideas of what love is and what marriage is. And for many people around the world, they get married not for love, but for other reasons, for financial reasons, for family reasons, for future reasons. So maybe he's one of those people. He's just like, yeah, I mean, I love her enough to get married, but that's not why I'm getting married. I'm getting married because I want to build a family together, or I want to be, I don't know. Even in that direction, though, I'm still waiting for something that's specific to Danielle, right? That is, instead of I just randomly picked someone, some indication of Danielle is the reason. Like he's saying 40, 60%. I don't know. She's about to clarify what that means, which is good. But even if he's 40% in love with her, what is he, where's the evidence of that love? And maybe it's behind closed doors and they never show it to us. But as a person watching the show, it would make me less anxious if I saw evidence of that because I worry for Danielle.
60 what?
Yeah, 40, 60, 40 for like going, trying something new, and 60 for just being like with someone and trying to be stable and build your life. And
Danielle, are you okay with that being 60% of the equation?
Okay, so remember that I had the hypothesis that she would regress under stress and maybe often regressing, maybe permanent regressing, but that was uncomfortable to watch. There's nothing, she didn't harm anyone, so let's be clear about that, but that did not give me a good feeling. The whole time while they're talking, in the interview, she's sitting next to him and she's putting her face in his shoulder, and he's just sitting forward, no acknowledgement of that, which, okay, I didn't know what to think of that. Then, the host is asking him questions, clarifying, and the host asks Danielle, what do you think of that? And she smiles big, and let's rewatch that again. I'm going to cringe again, but let's watch. So why would someone do this? It's because they, as my hypothesis is, and it's usually pans out, there's no way to know why people do anything, but in my world, we try to conceptualize it, because then when we have a conceptualization, it's not based in fact, it's based on a guess, because we can't open the brain and figure things out. So we're trying to conceptualize, we're trying to create a narrative as to why something is happening so that if there's a problem, we can address it. Because people come into our offices asking us to help them with something. Now, if Danielle came to me and said, my relationships, say they break up or something, or I'm having a lot of conflict with my husband, and I observed this, I would wonder if this plays a role in the problem, or if this is the tip of the iceberg in terms of some trauma that she went through when she was very young, and so she was arrested, and or she had a high authority attachment figure that she had to, for sometimes abuse, but also just problematic parenting. Some children will cope with it by acting like they're very, very young in order to get their parents to love them. Kids are extremely cute when they're like 0 to 4. And then as they get older, they're still cute, but they're not as cute. And there's I think, an evolutionary reason for that when children are very young, they're extremely defenseless. And so we have to be paying attention to them. And there has to be something kind of an instinct, a psychological mechanism, if you will, that we evolved to really pay attention to them and really want to take care of them. And that should attenuate over time, right? That as children age, that desire to constantly take care of them and to always be looking at them and to always be interested in them should attenuate so that it allows for the child to develop and grow up. But when things are going well, the child gets enough love and attention, 0 to 4, such that when there is some distance, they go to preschool, they go to kindergarten, the child is able to do those things and feel like they can return home, and or they feel like they're good enough on their own because they've been given enough love and dependency. But if you frustrate that dependency when the child is 0 to 4, sometimes they will retain that childishness well beyond that age, maybe even to the age of 41 years old, because they learned when they were young that in order to pull in, this is just one potential story, that 0 to 4, she was neglected emotionally somehow, and she wasn't given enough attunement. And then when she is 12 years old, she still needs a lot more attunement and love and attention because of that deficit that she's been carrying with her from her early life. And so she figured out somehow that if she acted like a 2-year-old, then whoever was around, one of her parents, maybe a father, would actually notice her. When she acted like a 12-year-old, the father wouldn't notice her, but when she acted like a 3-year-old, they would notice her. The other possibility is, sexual abuse of some kind. Certainly, if I saw this, that would be a red flag for that. I wouldn't know. I would have to. There's a lot of different reasons why someone would do this, but if I saw that, I would definitely add that to the list of things to discuss with people. So that's the idea. Again, there's nothing inherently wrong. We've seen cast members on this show do wrong things like lie or cheat. This behavior is not like that. It's just something to observe that is worrisome regarding the traumas that she's been through and her ability to remain assertive and in her adult persona, because she needs to do that in order to interact with other adults, particularly with him. Let's rewind. Hey, deserving listeners, as y'all know, I am constantly recommending that people go to therapy. We all need therapy from time to time. Well, one of the options available that is definitely worth checking out is BetterHelp. If you're looking for a therapist, I would give it a try by going to betterhelp.com/Kirk. Make sure you use the promo code Kirk because you get 10% off your first month, and it really helps us out. As you watch these videos, I know many of you have been motivated to find your own therapist, which is great because you deserve it. And I know also that it can be hard to find a good fit, find the right one for you. Well, one of the options available in terms of your shopping is to go to betterhelp.com/Kirk. I've been told you can start communicating with your therapist in under 24 hours. You can message your counselor at any time. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. I've also been told that it's often less expensive than in-person therapy, and you should know that this service is available to clients worldwide. So go to betterhelp.com/Kirk to get 10% off your first month today.
Being like with someone and trying to be stable and build your life. And
Danielle, are you okay with that being 60% of the equation? How do you think that makes her feel, Mohamed?
Mohamed, do you love her?
Yeah.
You do love her?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so they're cutting to the chase on that one. Do you love her? And I like the way the guy asked. It's interesting. So this is season 2 of 90 Day Fiancé. This is the first time that y'all have wanted me to watch someone from this season. The tone was so different back then. It was so much more calm and relaxed, and people weren't screaming at each other. And so this guy asked, a very nice question. He wasn't like, do you love her? He's like, Mohamed, do you love her? It's a nice tone. And then he says yes. I will say, not in a super convincing way, but he's saying yes. We don't have any reason to doubt him, do we? Let's rewind that response too. I think this is and maybe they'll go into more detail on this.
Her?
Yeah.
You do love her?
Mm-hmm. I do.
I think it's a cultural situation. Maybe the people just this because when I watch the show, I never see you kiss passionate.
Yeah, that's about like culture and religion. We don't show affection in public, okay?
And I'll grant him that, absolutely. That we've heard other people from his neck of the woods say the same thing, and absolutely. However, I will say that there should be some affection, but some people express their love differently. I'm still not convinced, and he doesn't have to convince me, but I'm still very much worried for Danielle. There's I've been saying this from the beginning that it's a trope for people to accuse the non-Americans that they're just in it for the green card, and it's often unfair as an accusation and really kind of ugly as an accusation. But in this instance, it's hard to ignore. But how would we know? We don't know his heart. We don't know what they're like behind closed doors. Maybe they're extremely loving behind closed doors. He, out of many of the cast members, is more on the side of things where he doesn't seem to want to reveal himself. He doesn't seem to want to be filmed very much. So, Danielle's still with them. So maybe there is something that bonds them, some sort of bond. But there's also this possibility that there's nothing there. and Danielle is just complete, because given her presentation, I wouldn't be surprised. So let's hypothetically just say he's not in love with her at all and is just tolerating her. There's if that's true, we could imagine Danielle creating a fantasy in her mind, a childish fantasy, if you will, that he's completely in love with her. The way that someone thinks about like a famous person when they're a child, like, when you're, I don't know, 9 years old and you have a Justin Bieber poster on your wall and you're just like, we were made for each other. That's okay. You're 9, you have a fantasy, but hopefully not when you're 41.
What was an issue for your family?
And for my family.
Yeah, but why love here? It's only like kissing and hugging and that stuff. Love is bigger than that. It's not just hug someone. Because even some people, they use like the word "I love you," like it's like seem like they're saying hi.
Agreed, absolutely. And this could be a cultural thing. It could be a specific thing. It could be a thing they just don't want to reveal to the camera. So it's just a big question mark at this point. They could have genuine love. Danielle, I wish that she would talk more, because it would give us, I think, a little bit more of an idea of what's going on behind the scenes. All right, well, that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself, because you deserve it. You really, really do.